All right, so we want to solve the system of equations using the simplex method. So notice you have three equations, and so we would need to introduce three different variables as our slack variables for these. So I will let u be greater than or equal to 0, v and w, such that 2x plus 4y plus u is now equal to 40. So again, these slack variables turn our inequality to an equation. So they pick up the slack and add whatever needs to be added to make that less than or equal to 40 into equals to 40. So then moving on to the next one, x plus y plus v would be 12. 5x plus y plus w would be equal to 40. Also, we want to maximize this equation here. So we will let m be as large as possible. So we'll let it be greater than or equal to 0. Such that my objective function is equal to m. So our objective function is 20x plus 30y. This equals to m. Now I want to move everything to one side of the equation. Subtract 20x, subtract 30y. So we will get negative 20x minus 30y plus m is equal to 0. Okay, now I can take my four equations, set up a matrix tableau, and then see what row and what column gives me this pivot element, and then start pivoting until I get the maximum that I'm looking for. So setting up our matrix tableau, we have 2, 4, 1, 0, 0. So let's see what it is. So we have x here, y, u, v, w, m, and then our solutions. So another 0, and my solution for that was 40. The next one is 1, 1, 0, 1. So 1 or 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0. And this needs to be 12. Next one, we got 5, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0. And that's 40. And then finally, my objective function, which is negative 20, negative 30, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. There we go. Okay, now my goal is to end up with no negatives on the bottom of this line. Unfortunately, as of right now, I have 2 negatives there, so I am not done. And I want to pick the column that has the most negative number in it. So here I have negative 20, but here I have negative 30. Negative 30 is more negative than negative 20. So my pivot element comes from this column. Is it this 4? Is it this 1? Or is it this one? I don't know. So now I would need to get the ratio of my solution with the element in that column to see which one gives me the smallest ratio. So the ratio here is 40 over 4. Here it's 12 over 1, and here it's 40 over 1. This is 10, this is 12, this is 40. Smallest ratio is this 10 right here. So my pivot row would be this row. And so 4 is the element I want to pivot. So that means I want to turn that 4 into a 1 and then turn everything in that column into zeros. So how do I turn 4 into a 1? I can do that by multiplying that entire row by 1 over 4. So 1 over 4, row 1 in row 1. Okay, so 2 times 1 over 4 will be 2 over 4, which reduces down to 1/2. Okay, 4 times 1 over 4 is 4 over 4, which is 1. 1 times 1 over 4 is 1 over 4. Then I have a whole bunch of zeros, and right here it's 40 over 4, which is 10. Now I want to turn all these other elements into zeros. So multiply the first row by -1/2 added here. So multiply the first row by -1 added here. Multiply that first row by -1 added here. Multiply it by +30 added here. So let's do that. Again, multiplying negative row 1 plus row 2 and row 2. Negative row 1 plus row 3 and row 3. And then +30 row 1 and plus row 4 and row 4. We got 1/2, 1, 1 over 4, 0, 0, 0, and 10. Okay, I have -1/2 plus 1/2. That's +1/2. -1 plus 1, 0. -1 over 4 plus 0. -1 over 4. 0 plus 1 is 1, 0, 0. And then we have -10 plus 12. That gives me 2. Okay, next one we have -1/2 plus 5. So it's really 5 minus 1/2, so it'll be 4.5. 4 and 1/2 gives me 9 over 2. 4 and 1/2 is 8 plus 9.5. All right, next one. We have -1 plus 1, that's 0. -1 over 4 plus 0, -1 over 4. 0 plus 0. 0 plus 1, 0 plus 0. -10 plus 40. -30. +30. Okay, now moving on. We have negative or +30 over 2, which is 15, minus 20. +30 minus 30 is 0. 30 divided by 4 plus 0. That is 15 over 2. 0 plus 0, 0 plus 0, 0 plus 1. 30 times 10 gives me 300 plus 0. Okay, I still have a negative underneath that bar, so I'm still not done. So we need to now take that -5 and find a pivot element in that column. So let's line. Now my pivot element comes from this column. Again, I need to take these ratios, see which one is the smallest one, and then that row will produce that pivot element. So let me make this a little bit smaller. Okay, so we have 10 divided by 1/2, which is really 10 times 2. This is 20. 2 times 2. Here we have 30 times 2 over 9. 60 over 9. Which is about 6. It's 6 and 2/3. It's 6.6 repeating. Okay, smallest ratio is this 4. Pivot element right here. So let's pivot that. Okay, I will multiply that entire second row by 2 to turn that 1/2 into a 1. So let's write that. So it will be 2 row 2 into row 2. So we have 1, 0, negative a half, positive 2, 0, 0, and 4. These ones stay the same for now. We are multiplying row 2 by negative 1/2 and adding it to row 1. So negative 1/2 times 1 is negative 1/2, plus 1/2 gives me 0. Negative 1/2 times 0 is 0, plus 1. Negative 1/2 times negative 1/2 is positive 1 over 4, plus another 1 over 4, that is 2 over 4, which reduces down to 1/2. Then we have negative 1 plus 0 is negative 1. 0 plus 0, 0 plus 0. And then we have negative 2 plus 10, positive 8. Okay, multiply row 2 by negative 9 over 2, row 2 plus row 3 in row 3. All right, we have 0 here, 0 here. We have positive 9 over 4 minus 1 over 4 is 8 over 4, which reduces down to 2. Then we have negative 9. We have 0 plus 1 is 1, 0 plus 0 is 0. And then we have negative 36 over 2, which is negative 18 plus 30 gives me positive 12. Positive 5 times row 2 plus row 4 in row 4. So we have 0 here, 0 here, negative 5 over 2, plus 15 over 2 gives me 10 over 2, which is 5. 10, 0, 1, and 20 plus 300, 320. All right, now notice I have no negatives in this last row. So I have reached the maximum. I just need to pick my group 1 elements, make those zeros, and then I can solve for my group 2s, and I have my maximum. So group 1, we will let U be 0 and V be 0. So these two columns go away. Now I have the identity matrix and I can read off the solutions. Then group 2. X is 4. Y is 8. W is a slack variable that I introduced. I don't really care about it, but I'll write it down. And our maximum M is 320. So the maximum 320 happens when X is 4 and Y is 8. Now, the second part is saying to use linear programming to confirm that our solution is actually correct. So we are going to graph the inequalities, find these vertices, plug them into the objective function, and find the point that gives us the maximum. Okay, so let's graph our inequalities. I have them typed in here already. I am going to turn these on. And I want the area where everything is true. So it's this polygon right here. So my vertices are 8, 0, 0, 0, 0, 10. This point right here at 4, 8. And this point right here at 7, 5. So now I'm going to switch my screen back to the iPad and write these vertices down and plug them each into my objective function and see which one gives me this maximum. So the vertices we had were 0, 0, 8, 0, 0, 10, 4, 8, and 7, 7, 5, no, 5, 7. Was 20x plus 30y. All right, we have 20 times 0 plus 30 times 0. That's 0. 20 times 8 plus 30 times 0. 160. 20 times 0 plus 30 times 10. 300. 20 times 4 plus 30 times 8. This gives me 80 plus 240. 320. And then we have 20 times 7 plus 30 times 5. 140 plus 150. 290. So here is my maximum right here. That does confirm it. Maximum is 320 at the 0.48.